Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, family. We are Israel, and we come out on the Most High's day, for this is the day that Yah has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. So let's bless our King before we pray. Baruch et Yahweh. Baruch et Yahweh HaMevorach. Baruch atah Yahweh HaMevorach le'olam vayed. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher bekar banu makol hamanyim v'natan lanu ha'torah. Baruch atah Yahweh notan ha'torah. That is to say, blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh, the blessed one. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the blessed one, for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah, to the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Israel, to our King, our provider, our healer, our sustainer, deliverer, our Elohim. Master, we come before you today with bowed head and humble hearts. Forgive us of our sins, O King, and cleanse us of unrighteousness, that our prayers will not be hindered this morning. We thank you, Master, for all things. We thank you for those that are here, that are gathered and assembled today on your set-apart day. We thank you, Master. We ask that you will bless us collectively, bless us individually, Master. We ask that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts will be acceptable in thy sight. We are thy people, O King, and we are the sheep of thy pasture. We are exiled in this land, Master, but you said that you would give us a little temple to worship you in. So we come out this day, on the seventh day, the day that you rested. Master, we come out in fear, we come out in obedience and in love, Master, because we do not cast our words behind us. The things that you have said, we live by what thus saith Yah. And we don't cast those words behind us, Master, but your words weigh heavily with us, O King. They lay heavily on our hearts, Master, and we are trying to be obedient to thy word, Master, because we love you. We recognize who we are, that we are your people, Israel, and that our ancestors made a covenant with you, O King, and said at the foot of Mount Horeb that all that you said we shall do. And you said that that covenant shall be with them that were there and those that who were not there, their children, who we are, O King, and we recognize that. And so we are trying to keep the covenant that our ancestors made with you, Master. So we ask that you would keep strengthening us and keep providing for us, O King, that knowledge of your word, Master, that we may hold it close to our heart, that we may try to live in obedience to thy word. And we ask, O King, and we recognize that you have blessed us because we are trying to keep thy word. And we thank you for all that you give us, life, health, and strength, food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we thank you for taking us out of idolatry, Master, and showing us your word and opening it up to us and opening our eyes that we may have a clear understanding of thy word. And we thank you for that, O King. We ask that you would forgive us for those things that we cannot keep. Those things that we cannot keep because we're in exile, because we have no temple, we have no king, we have no Kohanim. And Master, the things that we can keep that we fail to do, we ask that you will forgive us for those too. Forgive us for those sins, Master, that we have done in rebellion against you. And we ask you that you will forgive us for those sins that we may have forgotten or we may not have an understanding on. We ask that you would continue to strengthen the leadership of this house. Master, we thank you for our mores, and we ask that you would continue to deliver your word to them and give them understanding of your word, Master, that they may continue to teach us. We ask you for we thank you for all that are assembled here together, those that may be sick or the distance may have been too far to travel, Master. We ask that you would account them as part of this assembly, Master. And we ask that you would continue to keep us, continue to heal those that may be sick in their bodies, and that you continue to keep us, and we thank you for keeping our children, O King. And we just ask that you will continue to keep us until we can meet here again. This is our prayer. Amen.
Shalom to everybody. We're going to read today from the Helium which is Psalms chapter 137. Read with me, would you? By the rivers of Baval, we sat down and wept as we remembered Zion. We hung up our layers on the willows that were there, when those who had taken us captive asked us to sing them a song. Our tormentors demanded joy from us. Sing us one of the songs from Zion. How can we sing a song about Yahweh here on a foreign soil? If I forget you, Jerusalem, may my right hand wither away. May my tongue stick to the roof of my mouth. If I fail to remember you, if I fail to count Jerusalem, the greatest of all my joys. Remember Yahweh against the people of Edom, the day of Jerusalem's fall. How they cried, tear it down, raze it to the ground. Daughter of Babel, you will be destroyed. A blessing on anyone who pays you back for the way you treated us. A blessing on anyone who seizes your babies and smashes them against a rock. I give you thanks with all my heart, not to idols, but to you I sing praises. I bow down towards your set-apart temple and give thanks to your name for your grace and truth. For you have made your word even greater than the whole of your reputation. When I called, you answered me. You made me bold and strong. All the kings of the earth will thank you, Yahweh, when they hear the words you have spoken. They will sing about Yahweh's ways. Great is the glory of Yahweh. For though Yahweh is high, he cares for the lowly, while the proud he perceives from afar. You kept me alive when I surrendered by danger. You put out your hand when my enemies rage. With your right hand you save me. Yahweh will fulfill his purpose for me. Your grace, Yahweh, continues forever. Don't abandon the work of your hands. Yahweh, you have probed me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I stand up. You discern my inclinations from afar. You scrutinize my daily activities, so you are so familiar with all my ways that before I speak even a word, Yahweh, you know all about it already. You have hemmed me in, both behind and in front, and laid your hand on me. Such wonderful knowledge is beyond me, far too high for me to reach. Where can I go to escape your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I climb to the heavens, you are there. If I lie down in Sheol, you are there. If I fly away with the wings of the dawn and land beyond the sea, even there your hand would lead me. Your right hand would hold me fast. If I say, let darkness surround me, let the light around me be night. Even darkness like this is not too dark for you. Rather, night is as clear as day. Darkness and light are the same. For you fashioned my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I thank you because I am awesomely made. Wonderfully, your works are wonders. I know this very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes could see me as an embryo, but in your book all my days were already written. My days have been shaped before any of them existed. Yahweh, how I prize your thoughts, and how many of them are there? If I count them, there are more than grains of sand. If I finish the count, I'm still with you. Yahweh, if only you would kill off the wicked, men of blood, get away from me. They invoke your name for their crafty schemes. Yes, your enemies misuse it. Yahweh, how I hate those who hate you. I feel such disgust with those who defy you. I hate them with unlimited hatred. They have become my enemies too. Examine me, Yahweh, and know my heart. Test me and know my thoughts. See if there be any hurtful way, and lead me along the eternal way. Amen. You may be seated. It's been a good week. We thank the Most High for his graciousness and his faithfulness to us. He's caused us to lie down and to rise up and to have another day of strength in our bodies and in our minds and in our spirits. He is awesome in all his ways. When I think of his goodness and all that he's done for me within my being, I cry out and give him thanks for every breath I breathe. I give him thanks for the mobility and functionality of my body. There is no one like Yah. There are many people that we need to find. Talked with a young lady yesterday at length and talked about the numbers of people that are in the matrix. She says, there are a lot of people in the matrix. I said, yeah. And the Most High has impressed upon me that I need to go find them. I think that we've arrived at a point in time in what we're doing that we're very excited about Yahweh and his Torah and the teachings therein. With that being said, I no longer have the time to waste on individuals who are arrogant, stiff-hearted, and stiff-necked. I'm looking for those individuals whose hearts are pliable and want to know the truth about the Most High's word and are sincere about their eternal position in life. Those are the ones I'm looking for. Those are the ones the Most High is looking for, because he says, I know those that are mine. And so it is that we are here doing what the Most High has asked us to do, and it's not popular. But then again, the Most High is only looking for a remnant anyway. So we'll continue moving in the path that we're moving, be happy therein, and we'll keep doing the things that the Most High has asked us to do. I am going to change a reference that I make as I introduce the Moray. I am going to introduce the Moray as the attorney Moray Sean Appleton. Now, why do I do that? Because he is law heavy. He teaches the Torah, the laws, and the commandments of the Most High like an attorney. He knows them. He sees them. He sees them when they're not even spoken. And with that, attorney Moray Sean Appleton.
Thank you. Thank you. The Moray always does a wonderful job. Like I always say, I'm always looking forward to seeing how he's going to do this every single week. He never seems to run a well that never runs dry, so to speak. I thank the Most High for allowing me to be here yet another Shabbat. To tell it like a TIE is just one more again, the usual stuff that we usually say in here. For allowing me to be here today, the beneficent Yahweh El Shaddai. Remember that name today, El Shaddai. Remember that. That's going to come up in our teaching today or our presentation today. El Shaddai, El Elyon, Yahweh Sevaot, Yahweh Eya Asher Eye, the one who has created all things in 6 days and has commanded his people, if you are Hebrew Israel, then this day is not for you. This day is ordained for Hebrew Israel that we may what? Convocate and rest and observe the mitzvot of the Most High. So I want to thank the Most High for allowing me to be here today to follow the mitzvot He's ordained for not only myself, but for all of Hebrew Israel. For the dignitaries that are in the room, to Moray, Trey Beverly, to Moray, Gerald Beacom. In the absence of Brother Charles, Shabbat Shalom to all of you gentlemen today. To the Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr., Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. To all of those that are joining us by way of the stream, Shabbat Shalom to you. I said something last week that I think upset a lot of people. I think I upset them. So that's our job in here. We upset people. We make the nest so it's uncomfortable to be around, right? Especially when you come in with receipts that says your black behind should be somewhere congregating today. Your melanated rear end should be somewhere amongst the Most High's people if you call yourself Hebraic. You just sitting behind your computer, and I'm sorry, I'm going to continue to keep saying it because I know there's a bunch of folk that's listening to me right now that could be here, that could be with a congregation, but decided not to because I don't know what. What do you want to call it? We'll just call it being disobedient to the Most High's edict. Okay? Let's just call it like we see it. You are supposed to congregate. All right? But I guess me mentioning that gets people upset. Okay? So, you're not mad at me. What does the prophet Moray said? You're not mad at. Listen, they're rejecting the Most High. They're not rejecting you. They say that I understand the mitzvot of the Most High, and I have decided and elected not to do it for whatever reason. So outside of an ailment or a condition that prevents you, and outside of you observing the mitzvot, Shabbat Shalom to all of you that are joining us by way of the stream, to our digital family, Shabbat Shalom to you, to our descendants that are here with us and those that are not. You'll be able to hear these recordings, and hopefully you'll be able to stand on the shoulders of giants so you could see further that your ancestors tried to walk in the ways of the Most High the best we could. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Now, okay, I know it's cold outside, and I know it takes a little bit for us melanated folk to get started. I know how I am. When it gets a little cold, your bones getting a little achy. You don't want to move. It's quick. But we got to stand on our feet and observe a mitzvah. All right. Now, there's only 2 of them in here. So you're only turning in one direction today, okay? And that's probably behind you today. The mitzvot reads, it says that you are to stand in the presence of those that have gray hair. That can be found in Vayikra or Leviticus chapter number 19, verse 32. It says, stand in the presence of those that have gray hair and show respect for the old. So, turn to the person that's closest to you. Look them in the eye. And they're probably going to have to look at several people and tell them, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All right. We observe the mitzvot in this house, okay? We observe the mitzvot here, and that is one of them. So, we pay our respect. All right? To all of you that are joining me here in the studio audience today, I want to tell all of you Shabbat Shalom as we continue our study of Shemot chapter numbers 5 and 6. Shemot being the book of Exodus. Exodus just simply means leaving, or an exodus. That's in the kind of how the Greeks have decided to name that book Exodus. But the first words in that particular segment of the Torah, or the first books that Moshe had written in this section, says Shemot. What does Shemot stand for in Hebrew? The names. The names of what? We're going to keep drilling this. Come on. The names of what? The children of Israel, the names of the heads of those tribes that went down into Mitzrayim, right? Now, they had already been there, all right? We went through that last time. Where were they living? Come on, class. I'm going to have to be like you. I'm over here. Come on, class. Where were they living? No, when they were in Mitzrayim, where were they in Mitzrayim? Where were they living? Goshen, all right? What cities did they occupy in Goshen? Ramses and Pithom. That's the two cities that they built. They were cities that were in the delta. If you look at Mitzrayim and Egypt, you'll see that there is a region to the north that is occupied by actually these deltas where all the water comes in these tributaries. They come in and join into the Nile River. And so a lot of commerce were happening right off of that Mediterranean Sea going right into Mitzrayim. And that's where your people were. They were in that particular area. Was that the hood or the suburbs? It was the suburbs. When your people got moved into Mitzrayim, they were moved into the suburbs. I'm doing this for a reason, y'all, because we got to have the repetition of what's going on, okay? I had a conversation this week with my son's teacher at his school. And the issue had come up in the conversation where he was saying it's hard sometimes for children to raise their hand and ask the question, like they're apprehensive about doing it. And I said, imagine you mentioned that, because I kind of feel as a presenter of information that sometimes people get a little apprehensive about not raising their hand if they don't know something, okay? All right, I'm going over this kind of what we say, kind of remedial type stuff. Oh, Mom, you know what? I'm starting to sound like that guy in school. Y'all don't talk to me. Y'all makes me believe that y'all haven't read nothing. Y'all wasn't listening to me. Talk back to me now, okay? Okay. But ask the question, all right? Even if it's a remedial issue, if we need to go back over it, let's go back over it. Let's go slow. All right? Because if you have a question, somebody else probably has the question too. All right. So they lived in Goshen. All right? They lived in Goshen. And now we're in a part of the story here where they've cried out. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to do that. What can you remember up until now about what's happened thus far in the book of Shemot? Such a broad question. Her dad is a priest. What's her dad's name? He has two names. Ruel, and what's the other name? Yitro or Jethro, all right? He goes there, he finds his wife because he's on the run in Mitzrayim from Paro because he killed this particular Egyptian, right? Okay, so while he's out there, the Most High commissions him to go get your people. Why? Because they had been complaining about how the oppression that they were under was so severe that their cries went up to the Most High. All right? We're getting ready to see this metaphoric birthing of Hebrew Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim. Okay? I want to say this right now because the Most High gives me stuff during the week, but I have to save it until chapter number 13. All right? I got to save it until chapter number 13. But there's a famous movie. You young enough to remember this. You can remember this. There's an actor by the name of Keanu Reeves. You know who Keanu Reeves is? Okay. What's one of the famous movies that he's in? It's a series of them. What's it called? You don't watch Keanu Reeves? You don't know what movies he's in? Okay. Have you heard of a movie called The Matrix? Yeah, there's about 4 of them. I want you to remember that when we get to chapter number 13, all right? Especially when we read it out of the King James, all right? Oh, boy. Just remember, she said I can't do that. I can't do that. Did you know The Matrix was written by a melanated woman? You didn't know that? The Matrix was written by a melanated woman. Her name is Sophia Stewart. Okay? She actually is the mother and author of another famous series. Do you know that we had in California a famous actor as a governor? You know what his name is? You don't know who the governor's name? The Governator. His name was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He appeared in a movie called what? He had a famous line in there. He said, "I'll be back." Right? What movie was that? The Terminator. Did you know that that was written by a black woman too? Think about it. The Terminator and The Matrix are one story. She wrote this story about the Terminator and the Matrix. The Matrix is the continuation of the Terminator. Think about it for a second. What was the Terminator about? Somebody, now you're gonna trip out when you hear about this, because she wrote the Terminator and the Matrix based on the story of Jesus Christ. She says that's the story. John Connor, JC, he's supposed to be the guy that comes back and frees his people, the second coming. All that's, I'll get into that when we actually get over there. But she wrote the Terminator. The Terminator is or the Matrix is a continuation of the Terminator. What happens in the Terminator? This robot comes back from the future to kill this particular lady who's supposed to have this son who's supposed to be the savior of the world. His name's John Connor, all right? Now, The Matrix is this story about how all of the robots actually won. So you've got this one rogue robot that goes back into time in the Terminator to kill this one guy, because humanity is still intact. That doesn't go through, so the story of the Matrix is in there, where the story of the Matrix is about how all the machines won and they enslave everybody. If you read in the King James Version, a woman's womb is called the matrix. The matrix is mentioned 3 times in the New King James Version. It's mentioned twice in Shemot, chapter number 13, and it's mentioned, I think, in chapter number 18 of Shemot. But the matrix is talking about a mitzvah that says everything that comes out of the womb of a woman, it doesn't call it a womb. It says everything that comes out of the matrix of a woman is mine. The firstborn out of the matrix is mine. Okay? So, we have this idea here that Mitzrayim is the womb, because it gives birth to Hebrew Israel. Come out of the matrix. You're born into the matrix. Wait till we get there. I'm just only saying that because when we get there, I'm going to make a correlation that's here. It's going to be a metaphoric correlation here, but I'm giving my thunder away just so you guys can actually have it. So when I get there, you're like, no, okay, he did mention something about that before. But if you don't walk away with anything else, know that those 2 stories, those series, were written by a melanated woman. Her name is Sophia Stewart. And she talks about how those 2 books, or those 2 movies that were adaptations from her book, are based on the story of Jesus Christ. That's what they're about. But we'll get into that a little later. All right, I went there. Because of what? All right. We see them in Mitzrayim. They're getting ready to leave, okay? And we're getting ready to build up to that. So right now, Moshe has got his commission. He's going to go back, and he's got to go get his people out of Mitzrayim. And he's got some apprehensions about it, because what's Moshe's issue? He doesn't speak well. Who has to talk for him? His brother, thank you. Aharon has to speak for Moshe. All right? So we've got 3 signs. He says, listen, when you go back and you talk to the Hebrew people, show them these 3 signs. Can you remember what those signs were? Staff on the ground turns into a snake. What's the second one? Sticks his hand in his coat and it comes out looking leprous. That's when we had said, what did you tell me last week? You said in your Bible, that Bible that you read, it says when he stuck his hand in his coat, his hand had returned to the color of his own flesh, because it says that his flesh was turned white as snow. One indication that tells us that these are melanated people, because there would be no reason to mention what color his hand had turned if it was turning back to if it was white. He was already a white person already. Let's just say the soft parts out loud. If he was a non-melanated person and he stuck his hand in there and it came out a same color as him, there would be no need to mention it. But it's specifically mentioned that he puts his hand in and it returns to the color that it was before, to indicate that this is a melanated person. Okay? All right. That these are melanated people. All right. He does that. What's the last one? Was that? The blood. Right. He has to take some water, pour it out, and it will turn into blood. That will be the signs to let the Hebrew people know they're going to believe Moshe. Moshe is also given a sign from the Most High that says what? It says, if, in fact, this is your sign to know that I'm with you. What's the sign that he knows that he's with him? He makes it back to Mount Horeb. Says, how do I know? Give me a sign that this is going to come true. He says, when you have led the people out of Mitzrayim and you arrive at the mountain of Yahweh, then you will know that I was with you. And why do we know that? Because all of them, I'm going to use this, all you young people, close your ears, all the proverbial hell they are getting ready to go through in Mitzrayim, you had to have known that the Most High is with them. All right? The Most High is getting ready to split the waters. The Most High is getting ready to show them all these plagues, which they're not going to be plagued with. All right? So let's continue on with our reading here, as Moshe and Aharon are basically in 5 and 6 are going to continue to question the Most High on why they're picked and getting in front of this group of Hebrew folks that they believe are not going to continue to listen to them. And it's kind of deflating, because the Most High tells them, hey, listen, they are going to listen, but Paro won't. All right? Let's continue on. All right. Chapter 5, verse 1. It says, after that, Moshe and Aharon came and said to Paro, here is what Eye Asher Eye, the El of Israel, says. Let my people go so they can celebrate a festival in the desert to honor me. But Paro replied, who is this Eye Asher Eye? I told my cousin about Eye Asher Eye. He said to me, who is this Eye Asher Eye? I'm saying that because hopefully y'all have had the same, not to say that I've done that, I'm just saying, have y'all had that experience where you're talking to people about the Most High and they have no idea who you're talking about? I know you have that testimony. You know, you can need to nod your head. All right? It says, who is Eye Asher Eye, that I should obey when he says to let Israel go? I don't know Eye Asher Eye, and I also won't let Israel go. Don't know Yoel, and who is he that I should listen to him? They said, the El of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go. How many days? 3 days journey into the desert so we can sacrifice to Eye Asher Eye RL, otherwise he may strike us with a plague or with the sword. The king of Mitzrayim answered them, Moshe and Aharon, what do you mean by taking the people away from their work? Get back to your labor. Look, Paro added, the population of the land has grown, yet you are trying to have them stop working. What we're seeing here, or at least what I'm seeing here, is Paro is acknowledging that their economy is dependent on these Hebrew people. Without them working, without them cutting y'all grass, without them cooking y'all food, without all of the menial tasks that happen doing, you think are menial tasks that happen during the course of the day that keep the country running, this is what this group of people was doing. And you're telling me you want me to basically shut down all of Mitzrayim so all of y'all can go worship y'all El? You must be out of your mind crazy. Especially when I don't acknowledge your God that you serve or whatever you want to call him, right? The economy is based on this group of people. Is that making any correlations to today? Okay, all right. That same day, Paro ordered the slave masters. Okay, here we go. And the people's foremen. So what do we got? We've got Egyptian slave masters and foremen for the Hebrew people. So the Hebrew people's representative in front of Paro, that's a Hebrew, and the slave masters that are over them. This is what Paro told him. This is one of the things when I went back and I read this, and I did so many years of vacation Bible school over in the church. This is one of the things that got cleaned up when I went over this again, because I had an impression here. I said, oh, really? Guess reading it for yourself gives you a new perspective. I'm going to show you what my perspective was that got changed when I read this here and when we get past this next paragraph. It says in 6, that same day, Paro ordered the slave masters and the people's foremen. So there's two groups of individuals here. You are no longer to provide straw for the bricks the people are making, as you did before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. But you will require them to produce the same quantity of bricks as before. Don't reduce it, because they're lazying around. This is why they're crying. Let us go and sacrifice to our El, because y'all a bunch of lazy, no good Negroes. That's why y'all want to go sacrifice, because y'all just don't want to work. Give these people harder work to do that will keep them too busy to pay attention to speeches full of lies. Okay, so this is the one thing that I had to get cleaned up when I read this again. For the life of me, I thought Paro took away the straw and they were making bricks without it. All this simply says is that they took the straw away. See, Mitzrayim was providing the straw, the materials for them. And so now he's saying, we're going to take away the straw. You guys are going to have to go get it yourselves. So a provision that I was giving you in order to make up the composition of these bricks was the straw. Mitzrayim was providing it for them. And now they're not. They're going to have to produce the same amount of bricks and go get the materials, the raw materials that you needed in order to do it, because we're not doing that for you anymore, okay? And that's all because you're lazy and you don't want to work. So obviously, since you got all this extra time on your hands, we're going to give you something to do, to occupy your time with, which is now go and get your own straw, okay? For the life of me, I thought the straw was gone, but it's not. Mitzrayim was providing it. Now they have to get it themselves. It says the people's slave masters went out, their foremen too, and said to the people, here's what Paro says, I will no longer give you straw. You go yourselves and get straw wherever you can find it. But your output is not to be reduced. So the people were dispersed throughout all the land of Mitzrayim to gather stubble for straw. The slave masters kept pressing them. Keep working. Make your daily quota, just as when straw was provided. The foreman of the people of Israel, whom Pharaoh's slave masters had appointed to be over them. What does it say there? The foreman of the people of Israel, whom Pharaoh's slave masters had appointed to be over them, were what? Flogged. What's flogged mean? What's flogged mean? What's flogged mean, Ari? What's flogged mean? That means that they got a butt whooping. They got beat, right? They beat them. It says, why haven't you fulfilled your quota of bricks yesterday and today, as you did formerly? You know what? While I'm reading this, there is a scene that's in this movie called 12 Years a Slave that comes to my remembrance when I'm looking at this. There's a scene in 12 Years a Slave where they brought them all into this barn and they would weigh the cotton bags that they were producing. And had you not made that quota that you had previously made, or you were underneath your daily allowance, so it's based on two things. One, your quota that you made, making sure you maintain that, but that quota might be, for your personal quota, might be higher than just the bare minimum, right? Okay, so if you drop below your quota and the bare minimum, you got the food beach out of you, right? And as I'm reading this, I'm like, my goodness, okay. These images are coming to me. It says in 15, then the foreman of the people of Israel came and complained to Pharaoh. Okay, so these are the Hebrews that are over Hebrews going to complain to Pharaoh, because now you guys are in charge of making this group move and they ain't moving. So we just going to beat the fool out of you. All right. So they're going back to complain. It says, then the foreman of the people of Israel came and complained to Pharaoh, why are you treating your servants this way? No straw is given to your servants, yet they keep telling us to make bricks. And now your servants are being beat. We're being flogged. But the fault lies with your own people. Lazy, he retorted. That's Pharaoh. You're just lazy. That's why you say, let us go and sacrifice to Yahweh. Get going now and get back to work. No straw will be given to you, and you will still deliver the full amount of bricks. When they said, you're not to reduce your daily production quota of bricks, the foreman of the people of Israel could see that they were in some deep, what your Morey would say, doggy doo-doo. Okay? They were in some deep trouble. 20, as they were leaving Pharaoh, imagine that, they encountered Moshe and Aharon. Let's see what they say to him. They said, As they were leaving, they encountered Moshe and Aharon standing by the road, and they said to them, may Yahweh look at you and judge accordingly, because you have made us utterly abhorrent in the view of Pharaoh and his servants, and you have put a sword in their hands to kill us. Moshe returned to Yahweh and said, Yahweh, why have you treated this people so terribly? What has been the value of sending me? For ever since I've came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has dealt terribly with this people, and you haven't rescued your people at all. Chapter number 6. We're moving today. Yahweh said to Moshe, now you will see what I am going to do to Pharaoh. With a mighty hand, he will send them off, and with force, he will drive them from the land. We got Paro already primed. We got him prepped, okay? Now, we can see where both sides lie. Now the Most High is getting ready to get in here and get some action going, all right? Can anybody think about what the Most High is getting ready to do? We about to get into these plagues, right? We're getting ready to get into these plagues. All right. El spoke to Moshe. He said to him, I am. Eye Asher Eye. I appeared to Abraham. Okay. Is this a pattern with the Most High? Anytime that the Most High speaks, he introduces himself. He tells you who I am, what I've done, and what I want you to do. Okay. I'm making this a point, and I'm doing this to the camera because for those of you that are watching, the people in here know because we beat this into them. This is something that, and I don't want to use that vernacular, we've reinforced this quite a bit. You have to know the behavior of the Most High. Okay? This is a pattern that the Most High does all the time. The reason why I say that is because I immediately thought about your homeboy, Paul. Okay? Because it's not in the nature of the Most High or the behavior of the Most High, if that is the Most High, to just simply say, why are you persecuting me? When you get to Damascus, there's going to be a guy there, go see him. And that is enough to get Paul to turn. You're missing my point. Okay, you're missing my point. My point is that the Most High has a liturgy that he has when he speaks or he wants somebody to do something. Do you think that that is enough for him just to say, if that is the Most High, why are you persecuting me to a Hebrew? If I saw any of you Hebrews out here on the street and you fell down and the next thing you hear is, why are you persecuting me? Is that enough for you to be like, I'm abandoning the Most High? Because you don't know the Most High, if you don't, what does it say? Stand up for anything, you'll fall for everything. You don't stand for something, then you'll fall for anything. Because you don't know the nature of the Most High and how the Most High speaks and how the Most High conducts himself, yeah, you're going to believe, okay, well, yeah, that's cool. I believe that this individual fell down and now all of a sudden he's this raving starch Christian all of a sudden. It doesn't add up. And when I look at dissertations like this, when the Most High, and he's spoken to Moshe several times, and he continues to have this pattern every time he speaks to him, okay? And he always starts out the same way. I am Eye Asher Eye. I appeared to whom? This is liturgy, y'all. I am Eye Asher Eye of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. You're going to find that in a lot of dissertations that the Most High has when he's speaking to somebody. I'm the El of those people. That's how we can differentiate when the Most High is speaking, New Testament people. If the Most High is speaking, New Testament people, then he's going to speak the same way he's always spoken. And all of a sudden he changes. Okay? I am Eye Asher Eye. I introduced myself. Got that check. Okay, so we should hear something about Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Let's see. It says, I appeared to what? Okay, there it is. Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov as what? El Shaddai. I want you to remember that. Remember I said earlier, remember El Shaddai? Right here in this portion of text, what we're seeing is that Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov didn't know him as Eye Asher Eye. They didn't know him as Yahweh. They knew him as El Shaddai. Did y'all not read that? right there. It says, I appeared to whom? Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov as what? As El Shaddai, although I did not make myself known to them by my name, which is Eye Asher Eye. So pre-Yaakov, they would have known the all-existent spirit to be El Shaddai, which is translated as Yah Almighty. Okay? After Yaakov gets his name changed, we see this introduction in here as what? Eye Asher Eye Yod He Vav He. And that gets back to the covenant. All right? Abraham gets the name, gets this covenant spoken to him. And then throughout the covenant, you have this I am, I will, all that's in there. All right? But even through his descendancy, they still called him El Shaddai. Okay, so I want to make that point there. Pre-Hebrew Israel, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov called him El Shaddai. And somebody in the front said it still wasn't JC. Okay? Still wasn't John Connor. 4, also, with them I have established my covenant to give them the land of the Canaanite, the land where they wandered about and lived as foreigners. Moreover, I have heard their groaning of the people of Israel, whom the Egyptians are keeping in slavery, and I have remembered my covenant. I said the 4 tenets of text are always going to be what? Who can remember what those 4 tenets are? And do these 4 tenets show up? What are they? The 4 tenets are going to be a set-apart people for a set-apart land that have a set-apart set of mitzvahs for the set-apart Elohim. Okay? We got the set-apart Elohim. We got the set-apart people. We showing it here, all right? We got the set-apart land. We showing that there, right? We got 3 out of the 4. We're not talking about the set-apart mitzvot, but you have to be talking about the set-apart mitzvot, right? Because there's a covenant that's given. It says if you obey these teachings, this word that I'm giving you, okay? So inherently, the set-apart mitzvot are inherently nested in there. But what we see, obviously, is 3 out of those 4, just in this first paragraph right here. Let's keep going. 6, therefore, say to the people of Israel, I am Eye Asher Eye. I will free you from the forced labor of the Egyptians, rescue you from their oppression, and redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. I will take you as my people, the set-apart people for a set-apart Elohim, and I will be your El. Then you will know that I am Eye Asher Eye, your El, right? Who freed you from forced labor of the Egyptians. I will bring you into the land which, there's that set-apart land piece. I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. I will give it to you as your inheritance. I am Eye Asher Eye. Pay attention to how the Most High talks when he speaks. And if you can't pick up that same liturgy and apply it somewhere else, then I don't know who's speaking. Okay? It says in 9, Moshe said this to the people of Israel. What do you think the people of Israel thought? Okay. All right. It said, but what did they do? Come on, read it. Read the next part. It says, but they wouldn't listen. Put yourself, listen, stop. Yamore Holman can probably relate to this more than anything else. What did I just say? Go and tell Hebrew Israel X, but they don't believe me. Right? That's exactly what's going to happen. The Most High is going to tell you, go tell all them folks out there in Sacramento to walk after my ways. And what do you think they're going to do? Look at you crazy. Right. They're not going to believe you. All right? Okay. So I want to put you in the emotional area or arena of the way Moshe is thinking. Okay? It says But they wouldn't listen to him because they were so discouraged and their slavery was so cruel. Eya Asher Eya said to Moshe, go in and tell Paro, king of Mitzrayim, to let the people of Israel leave his land. Moshe said to Eya Asher Eya, look, the people of Israel have not or haven't listened to me. So how will Paro listen to me? Poor speaker that I am. He keeps going back to his speech impediment, and he keeps going back to the fact that I got some hard-headed, stiff-necked folk that do not want to listen. How in the world? Listen, is this any different from what we're talking about right now? This has been our history since day one, even in Mitzrayim, with Moshe even realizing it. Okay? So don't beat yourself up too bad over them stiff-necked, hard-headed group of folk out there, because Moshe had a problem with them. Okay? What does it say here in 13? It says, but Eya Asher Eya spoke to Moshe and who? And his brother, Aharon, and gave them orders concerning both the people of Israel and Paro, king of Egypt, to bring the people of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim. These were the heads of the families. The son of Reuven, the firstborn of Israel, were Hanok, Palu, Hetzron, Carmi. These were the families of Reuven. The sons of Shimon were Yemuel, Yamin, Ohad, Yakin, Sochar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. These were the families of Shimon. These are the names of the sons of Levi, with their descendants, Gershom, Kahat, and Merari. Now, y'all remember, those folks have mitzvahs written after them. Why are they significant? Because those mitzvahs that are written after them are things that they were assigned to do for the tabernacle. Like Kahat was, I believe, designated to carry the articles of the tabernacle when they were moving. So there's certain things that each one of these groups of Levi had to do. And you'll see that as you study the mitzvahs going on further. Just some Jeopardy quiz information for you. So you've got Gershom, Kahat, and Merari Levi lived to be how old? 137 years old. The sons of Gershom were Livni, and Shimni, and their families. The sons of Kahat were Amram, Yitzhar, Hebron, Uziel. Kahat lived to be 133 years old. The sons of Merari were Melachi and Mushi. These were the families of Levi with their descendants. Amram married Yocheved, his father's sister, and she bore him Aharon and Moshe. Amram lived to be 137 years old. The sons of Yishar were Korach. Who knows about Korach? Yeah, the earth opened up for that individual right there. We'll get into that when we get into Bad Midbar. All right. The sons of Yechar were Korach, Nepheg, Zikri. The sons of Uziel were Mishael, Elzaphan, and Sitri. Aharon married Elisheva, daughter of Avinadav, and sister of Nachshon, and she bore him Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. How many of those guys die? There's 4 of them. 2 of them die. Moray Beacom is not allowed to answer any more questions for the rest of the day. He got all the right answers in the back. Okay. Which 2? Well, matter of fact, not which 2. There's 4 sons that Aharon has, right? There's 4 of them. They're named right there. Okay. He just highlighted them. 2 of them die. Why? Yes. Strange fire. The young Hebrew in the back said this because they brought strange fire. Did they bring strange fire? Yes, they did. They went into the holies of holies where they shouldn't have been, or the set apart area of the tabernacle, and they died, right? And then the other two sons that Moshe has take over in their spot. So we'll continue to go on with those. You'll see those those stories come up. Since the sons of Korach were Asir, Elkanah, and Aviasaph, these were the Korach families. Eleazar, son of Aharon, married one of the daughters of Putiel, and she bore him Pinchas. What does Pinchas stand for? Does anybody know what Pinchas stands for? Yeah. Pinchas stands for dark-skinned. Okay? So if you go look up that word, Pinchas, what is Pinchas? Is he a Levite? Yeah, he's a Levite. So at least we know from inference here with the story of Moshe putting his hand in the coat that he's a melanated person. He's blending in with individuals from Midian. That's a melanated group of individuals. He's a part of a family where there's a man in there named Pinchas whose name is dark-skinned. These are dots that we like to try to connect when we're going through our dissertation about how melanated people show up in our text and how we are related to them and how they're us and we are them. Okay? So these little pieces that are in there, knowing the names and what they mean. Pinchas means dark skin. And so these were the heads of the family of Levi, family by family. It says these are, what did I say? Yeah, that says, these are the Aharon and Moshe to whom Yahweh said, or Eya Asher Eya said, bring the people of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim, division by division, and who told Paro, the king of Egypt, or Mitzrayim, to let the people of Israel leave Mitzrayim. These are the same Moshe and Aharon. So, you emphasizing saying these are the same Moshe and Aharon leads me to believe that there are probably more people named Moshe or Aharon. Are there more people in Sacramento named Robert? Is only one person named Robert? Okay. Is there one person named Gerald that lives here? Okay. Is there probably one person named Sean that lives here? Okay. Is there one person in here that's in Sacramento named Jean Amir? Probably. He's got a real unique name. Okay? So he's making a designation to say, these are the two that did it. Okay? There's some more people that are named that, but I want to designate these guys are the ones that did it. All right. It says, on the day when Eya Asher Eya spoke to Moshe in the land of Mitzrayim, he said, I am Eya Asher Eya. Tell Paro, the king of Egypt, everything I say to you. Moshe answered, Eya Asher Eya, look, I am such a poor speaker that Paro won't listen to me. He keeps going back to this issue of I am a very horrible speaker. But how did the Most High deal with that already? What did he tell him? He said, go anyway, Aharon will speak for you. Stand there, and Aharon will appear as if he's let's use the word God in front of everybody. You'll look like that in front of Aharon, and you'll look like that in front of everybody else. Okay? So Moshe, I don't know why he's continuing, and he's probably just like y'all. I don't want to deal with these people. Can you please send somebody else? I don't want to be the spokesperson for all the black folk or melanated people in the United States talking about we got to leave and go back to I don't want to have to deal with that group of folk. Can you send somebody else? I know this guy, Barack Obama. He can do it. People, there are better speakers out there than me, right? He keeps going back on that. Even though the Most High told him, your brother will speak for you. Don't worry about it. Okay? That is the end of 6. All right? Now, we didn't get a lot. Look, you left. It's like you left me just like the soap opera. You just left me in the middle of nothing. Where are we going with this one? This is kind of this lull period where we're transitioning into now he's getting ready to go in there and talk to Paro and do all of these, let's just say, miracles and show Paro who he actually is. Now, what's interesting as we get further along in here is that I don't know if you knew this, but part of those plagues that Moshe, or let's just say this, I shouldn't say that. Some of the signs that Moshe does in front of Paro actually has magicians that come and do the same thing too. Okay? That come and say, what you're doing is not that great. I got magicians that'll come in there and do it. And that gets to one point where some of these plagues get so great that, okay, yeah, there's no way. Matter of fact, the magicians come back and say, he has the real true Elohim behind him, because there is no way in the world we're reproducing that. And you're going to see that when we get into these plagues, okay? All right. We are getting ready to march up to Mount Horeb, where the Hebrew people are going to get the mitzvahs from the Most High, starting with the 10 Commandments. And they're really not 10 commandments. They're the 10 utterances that the Most High gave when he met Hebrew Israel out at the mountain of Mount Horeb, okay? That's why we call it the 10 utterances, because after the 10th one, the people of Israel say, we are not wanting to speak to the Most High. You go do it, Moshe. And then Moshe goes into the cloud, and then he gets the rest of them. He comes back down. He erects an altar. He has a peace offering and a burnt offering to commemorate it. And then the people all say, all that you have said, we will do. All right? So we're walking right up to these mitzvahs. Now, I got done pretty early today. All right? And I'm glad that I did, because I want to continue to try to emphasize a portion of time that we have to ask questions. There may be some folk that are online. There may be some people that are in the chat, in your text box, that might have questions. She said, they don't have questions, but I could get my blood pressure. How could I get my blood pressure up? I'm not speaking the truth because I'm not speaking about JC. Oh, okay. We can try to tackle that a little bit. So before we do, are there any questions in the chat? Let's go to the chat first. Was there anything of noteworthy in the chat that we need to address? That's in the chat. Okay, so that's in the chat. Oh, they're going back at it. The chat's lit today. It's not worth it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. They trolling in the chat. Oh, okay. It's not even, okay, the arguments that they bringing up are not even they're just talking. Okay. Okay, so the chat has asked the question and he's failed to provide receipts or an answer that make any logical sense. Oh, okay. So in the chat, he said, call out his name. We won't do that. Hold on. So the issue is that the chat has asked this individual to produce a receipt. And the receipt is, where does Yahweh mention the name of Jesus Christ ever? That's just that simple. And what the chat, if I understand it correctly, is asking for not an explanation, They're asking for a chapter and verse. That should be the only response given, right? Where's the receipt? So without that receipt, we can't move forward, okay? Because that question is a question of where does it say that? Don't give me an explanation. Where does it say that? Yes, sir. Right. We will only go by what proceeds forth out of the mouth of the Most High. And without that verification that's there, that's just conjecture and commentary. So, without that, now I can tell you why we don't necessarily believe in that notion of JC, and I talk about it all the time because it has to deal with, for me, the issue of understanding what's going on in chapter number 1 of Metayahu, or the book of Matthew, all right? And you would have to understand these mitzvahs to understand that, okay? Number 1, let me just give you the rundown real quick. If someone asks me, which they have, why don't you believe in Jesus Christ? Because I'm going to tell them there are too many violations that JC makes that does not make him a Messiah, nor does that make him any part of being of the Most High, period. Number 1, the Most High does not put in text anywhere where he accepts a human sacrifice. We don't believe in human sacrifices. If he's being sacrificed to someone for the atonement of sins for the world, who is he being sacrificed to? Who? See, all of y'all in here silent because y'all already know the answer. Because he ain't being sacrificed to nobody, okay? The Most High never designates. If he's being sacrificed to the Most High for the atonement of the sins of the world, and the only person that can go ahead and atone for that or grant that is the Most High, then you got to show me with receipts where the Most High says, I will accept a human sacrifice for that. And that is nowhere to be found. That's number 1. Number 2, the fact of the matter of this immaculate conception, that is a farce as well. You take that Emmanuel bit that we talked about last week, you'll have a sign and his name shall be Emmanuel. Because of the way that the King James Version is written, you don't realize that that portion has been directly taken out of Isaiah chapter number 7. That is coming, that is a prophecy that is in Isaiah chapter 7 that talks about 2 kingdoms. I talked about this last week. The northern kingdom was going to destroy the southern kingdom, which was Yehuda. Yehuda was crying out to the Most High saying, we do not want to be destroyed. The prophet was given this edict from the Most High. I'm going to give you a sign that Yehuda is not going to be destroyed. A child will be born from a young woman, not a young virgin. And that woman is going to give birth to a child. And when she gives a birth to that child is going to be named Emmanuel. That is how you know that the southern kingdom is not going to be destroyed. They lifted that portion of prophecy up and said, no, that's talking about Jesus Christ. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, the inception of Christ. When you talk about the Most High, if you know about, what is it, in Devarim chapter number, 24, and I believe 24 and 16? Somewhere around there. Oh, not the Father should be executed. Well, again, there's another one right there, 24 and 16. It says that the fathers cannot be executed for the sins of the sons, and the sons cannot be executed for the sins of the fathers. Everybody has to give an atonement for their own sin. No one can die for you. And that is, listen, if you're going to sit there and profess that the Most High has not changed, he's the same as he was yesterday, today, and forever, and you have text in Bad Midbar or in text in Numbers that says, 23 and 19, that says that I am not a man that I should lie, or change my mind. So therefore, if the Most High said it over here, then he can't change his mind over there. All right? I do not accept human sacrifices. No man can die for your sins. You have to make an atonement for your own. But the part I was going to get to is this other part in the book of Devarim, where it talks about if a man is engaged to a woman, right? She's engaged. That means that she's quasi-betrothed to him already. She's basically his wife in waiting, okay? It hasn't been made official, but she is assigned. Well, she is dedicated to him. If she goes off and does something with somebody else, then what happens? That comes under the classification of what? Adultery. That the woman and the man both die. 22 and 22. Yeah, Deuteronomy. So, if Joseph is engaged to Mary, then Mary cannot be pregnant. Why would the Most High break his own mitzvot to come into the world? Why would a man is already engaged to this woman already. And furthermore, we have had no precedent set prior to that event of the Most High doing anything like that. Anytime a woman was barren, anytime a woman could not conceive, it was always a man that did it. Okay? The Most High said, you're not going to be barren anymore. But it's not going to be the Holy Spirit is going to come down and get you pregnant. It's a man that's going to do it. Okay? All right? There are plenty of other reasons as to why, but again, they're all based on, does the Most High accept any of the things what's coming out of this man's mouth? Number one, the behavior, his inception, breaking of a mitzvah. What he stood for was really following after the mitzvahs. But I'm saying, if you're saying that, okay, he died for the sins of the world, that's not true either. Because no man can die for your sins. Only you can. And you have to make an atonement for it. So, again, human sacrifice. All these types of things add up and build a case as to why the Most High wouldn't accept this JC character. Okay? That is a discussion for later on. But in the chat, has this person come up with a chapter and verse yet? Okay, so where is the chapter and verse at? That's what we're saying. No, I don't want to hear the response. I want to hear the chapter and verse. The question was where? Okay? Where? Where? Not explanation and give me an essay. Where? And if you can't produce that, then you're making it up. Any other questions? Okay? You're going to continue to keep running across this. And this is what I'm saying to you. Instead of trying to defend what you're defending, why don't you just read it for yourself? Why don't you take off the rosy glasses of Christianity and just read the text for yourself and see what it actually is saying? Okay? So, at the end of the day, I think we're good to go, unless y'all got... Kenya is killing them. We got the they going in. Listen. If y'all haven't learned anything else, we are going to continue to be heavy on these receipts. Okay? Anybody telling you anything needs to come with receipts. Okay? I don't want to hear about your traditional, this is the way we've always done it, your religion. I don't want to hear anything about that. With thus saith the Most High, show me the receipt. It's just as simple as that. And if you're getting into a conversation with somebody, okay, all you're doing is giving your testimony. Okay? If you're not a confrontational person like that, just tell them, when I read this, this is what ended up happening, and this made me question what was going on over here, okay? And that's I'm just saying that was just for me. When I read that JC prays to God, because that's what it says over there in John, okay? When JC says that, listen, I've only come for the lost sheep of Israel, that's not everybody. Okay, when JC said, oh, okay, if you want eternal life, what do you have to do? And he said, follow the mitzvahs. He said, follow the commandments. When you read all these types of things and then you have an organization who decides who wants to tell you otherwise, and you convince yourself knowing that what you got in front of you is the actual truth because you're reading it for yourself, you got to do these mental gymnastics in order to make things work. Okay? If you're reading it in front of you and it says that the Most High requires X, I don't understand the reason why you would buck the system and come up with something on your own and do what you think is right in your own eyes. But there's consequences for that we see all over text. All right, I'm going to stop being preachy. Okay? All right, we good? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Make sure you like, share, and comment, because they are already in the chat room getting busy in there. Now, listen, if you got somebody that's apprehensive about coming in, give us their information. We want to talk to them, okay? Or if they want to join in a, like you say on your text message while we're doing it and they don't want to be in the chat room and they don't want to have people know who they are, I realize that this information is really foreign to a lot of people, and you don't know what you don't know. And you feel like, oh, if I ask this question, it's going to be remedial, and I don't want to be that person, okay? I understand. It's a thing. But you should not we want to encourage a venue of where you're encouraged to be able to ask what you need to get asked and have a question answered, okay? I'm not here to that's why I'm not mentioning that person's name on whatever's going on in the chat, is whatever is going on in the chat. And with all due respect, all we're, again, asking for is where is the receipt? Show me the receipt. That's it. I don't think it's out of line for anybody to say, if you got that from somewhere, where did you get it? Okay? So we can all see and be on the same sheet of music. Let's start there first, okay? So, but we want to encourage individuals to make sure that if they have questions, get those questions answered. All right? All right. If we don't have anything else, let me bless you so we can get up out of here. And then they can do whatever they want to do. What you're going to leave the chat open for the next hour? You're going to shut it down? You get your last couple of 60 seconds in. All right, stand to your feet. And we will be back next week with, if you want to read ahead, chapter 7 and 8 of Shemot. 7 and 8 of Shemot. Right. Passover lamb. It was a Passover goat. And it was a female. Not a dude. And it was an animal, not a man. Okay. He said, let it go. Okay. Let me bless you. Let me let you get out of here. Yahweh, Yahweh, you did this. Yahweh, Yahweh, Vayishmareka. Yair Yahweh Panave Leka Vihuneka. Yisa Yahweh Panave Leka Vayasam Leka Shalom, which simply means in English, may Yahweh, as they turn the page. There you go. May Yahweh, because I don't have it memorized. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards all of you and give you shalom. West Coast Hebrews. Until next time.